He's back on the show with us. A 7-fight deal in the bag, as we revealed last time he was on with us. Fight announced to James Vick, Madison Square Garden, November 6th, in the iconic Madison Square Garden Arena. Returning guest to the show. Always a pleasure to have him on. Joe Duffy. Joe, how are you, my friend?
Yeah, I'm good. Thanks, Niall. I'm buzzing. Glad the news is out now, and obviously it's always a relief when it comes out. But I'm really excited.
Definitely, yeah, excited, Joe. James Vick, as we said just there, the iconic Madison Square Garden Arena. You must be really buzzing. Like, obviously, the 7-fight deal you signed in, I think, July was obviously, it was a long time sort of in the making that you signed that deal. Big statement from the UFC to put you on this card. You must feel very happy as well with the promotion.
Yeah, very excited. Obviously, being able to fight in an arena like Madison Square Garden, this is the stuff as fighters like we dream of. Big GSP fan growing up, so fighting on the same card as his return, and also I'm a huge Bisping fan too. What he's done for the sport, across the water is unreal too, and just all the obstacles he had to overcome. So it's it's, I wouldn't say a dream come true because the belt's a dream come true, but it's definitely it's up there.
Definitely. We can't wait for RTE even getting behind it, and I think everyone was very excited this week when the news broke of the fight against James Vick. I want to get your thoughts. Obviously, as I mentioned there, did you feel now the UFC, or maybe it was something that you said obviously before you signed the contract, you didn't feel valued, but now it must really make you feel as though they value you as one of the best lightweights in the division, putting you on this card. It's a big statement from them.
Yeah, definitely. Being put on one of the big cards is definitely give me a bit more confidence. That in this fight deal that they're gonna push, and now it's down to me to go in and do the business and move my way up the ranks. All credit to my manager Graham. Obviously, all the work he's doing behind the scenes as well, getting me on the show. So. I'm very happy. I'm very grateful to be on the show.
Definitely. And something as well, before that was, I think a bit more active maybe than you were. You weren't getting the matches you wanted. Now you've the matches you wanted. Was that a real frustrating period that maybe you were a little bit inactive?
I think as a fighter, it's always hard to sit in the sidelines. That's the difference between when you sign with a big promotion and when you're signed to this like the smaller promotions. You can generally stay as active as you would like, and they're looking to get you on. They're always looking to fill up the cards. Whereas with the UFC, you kind of got to wait your turn because they've got so many fighters and only a certain amount of shows. But I don't know. I suppose it's a little bit frustrating, but you just gotta kind of take it for what it is. In that time, use the time to improve. I think like if I just sat about doing nothing and not making a progression, then it'd be even more criminal. But I'm still in the gym. I'm still working, and I feel I'm getting better all the time. So as long as I use the time wisely, I feel it's never a bad thing.
Has it been nice as well, maybe to sit out since the Reza fight and maybe look on at the the other lightweights in the division and obviously not have a fight announced? Is that sometimes nice, refreshing to assess the division and maybe pick a plan and try and map it out in the future?
Not really. That's not it's not my style really. Like I don't like to look too far ahead. I only like to take it one fight at a time. I find once I start looking too far ahead, saying, "Oh, I want to fight this guy. After this guy, I want to fight this guy." Then I feel like I'm taking my eye off the ball. I feel like if I got someone lined up and I'm looking around me, I'm looking at someone else, and I think that's a mistake. I feel that my focus isn't 100% on the person at hand. So that's a mistake I made in the past, and it's something I don't intend to make in the future. So I got offered this fight, and I thought it's exciting. Vic is obviously on the verge of being ranked, or maybe even is ranked, and I'll fight this fight, and then reevaluate things from there.
He's currently not ranked, Joseph. Just to let you know. There you
Oh yeah.
go. You don't even know that, Duffy. For Christ's sake. What?
Well,
I'm only
I like.
joking.
I'm not one of them guys. Like I'm gonna sit there watch it every weekend. In my free time, I try to just go and relax. That this is what I'm doing every day. It's kind of like people going to work every day of the week, and then when they get home from work, they want to sit down and watch other people work. It's a bit weird.
Oh, yeah. I understand. I was actually about to say that to you. Is that what you do, on the other side to sort of cut yourself away from it? Is that what you do? You don't watch much fights at all and just chill out and hang out?
Sometimes, obviously I am a fan of the sport. So, when there's fights that really excite me, I'll go to my coach Eric's and watch the fights. But other times I'm just, I'm quite content with my training. I'm glad to get away from it and just, have a life outside of fighting too.
Yeah, well, you can't get away from at the moment because the gym, everyone seems to be fighting on this Madison Square Garden. You've Eamon Zahabi, Faras's brother. Then you've obviously Georges St. Pierre. There must be a fantastic buzz around the gym, especially with the card that, is coming up. Michael Bisping, GSP, super fight. Then, you're on the card, as I said, Eamon. It must be a phenomenal buzz for everyone in the gym to be working towards the same goal on that amazing card that it's going to be.
Definitely. It's crazy. And normally I have Eamon in my corner, so to be fighting on the same card as Eamon as well, we can kind of bounce off each other. Like every time we go in the gym, you got that little smirk on our face where we're excited to get stuck into work, and obviously having George headlining it is crazy. It just puts a whole different feel to it.
We always knew having you on the show that he was going to come back someday. You always hinted at it, Duffy. Oh, he was sparring yesterday or whatever. But listen, you mentioned there, Eamon. Who's going to be in your corner then? Are you just going to bring someone else in? Is it going to be unsettling for you? Is that going to be an issue?
No. Fraz always in my corner, and Mandel Nalo is going to be in my corner. So I'm doing a lot of sparring with Mandel, and Mandel's helping me since I came to TriStar. He's helped me so much.
You remember this kid to me, Joe? Talk to me about this kid. You said this kid is probably one of the best guys you've ever seen. Talk to me about what's his name? Mandel Nalo, I think his name is. He's just signed with Bellator. How good is this kid?
He's amazing. Honestly, everyone who comes in the gym, they'll do around with Mandel, and I think it's such a shock to them. It's crazy. He can make pros just look like beginners. He really is that good. And the crazy thing is he's smart too. He's not just going in there fighting stupidly. He's very smart, and he works his ass off too. So I think the sky's the limit for Mandel.
Is he the one who gave you the shiner?
He might have been, actually. It was either Mandel or Joe Valle, I forget. But either way, they both probably hit me in that eye, I would say.
Definitely one to watch, guys. Mandel Nalo. Joe, you've also been training with George as well. I think you trained with maybe one day. You've been doing that for quite some time. Obviously that's a huge fight for people to watch. How do you think he's going to go against Michael Bisping? Going up a weight on his return, is that going to be an issue for George?
I don't think so. I don't think so. He's always training, so any kind of weight he would put on would be useful weight. It wouldn't just be weight that would be wasted or holding him back. He's very smart, George. You've seen him over the years, and nothing's wasted. He trains very smart. I think it's going to be a great fight. I'm really excited to watch it.
James Vick, let's get back to him. 6'3" lightweight, big guy, awkward sort of guy. How do you prepare for a guy like that, especially at lightweight? Because there's not many lightweights that are at 6'3", Joseph.
Yeah, that's it. Obviously, it's a new obstacle for me. As someone generally all the people I've fought I've been taller than, so it's something I'm excited about working. But when I was boxing, I sparred a lot of tall boxers. I remember sparring Andy Lee.
Yeah.
Andy Lee was very tall for the weight. I don't know, 6'3", 6'4", and he used his range so well. He used to sit in that back leg, throwing that left hand, obviously southpaw. But so in my time there, I learned I learned how to close the gap. I learned how to use my range also, against them taller guys. So it's not like, I've been doing this my whole life. It's not like I've never sparred taller guys before or anything else. It's just an exciting test for myself.
How do you envisage playing out? Obviously, there's a long way to go before the fight actually happens. But as a fight, you have to, maybe get in and out. Use your very fast hands and kickboxing skills, and maybe keep it on the feet.
Um, I don't know. I see the fight being a bit of a mixture, really. Like he's very good on the ground too, and he's a Golden Glove boxer, so he's good everywhere. So I think it's going to be a tussle. It's going to be a battle for every little inch.
Definitely.
So I think we're going to see a mixture of stuff.
This for me, it's obviously if Dublin had happened, unfortunate circumstances that it didn't. But for me, this is the biggest fight of your career. Do you feel that way? Like, do you have to keep the emotions in check maybe as well a little bit because of the stage that this fight card is going to be on?
It's definitely I don't know. It's hard to say. Like every fight seems to be the biggest fight of your career, because they're always every fight's so important.
But maybe the atmosphere, I mean, that comes with, fighting in Madison Square Garden on the card that you're on.
I would say so. I would say it's definitely going to be the biggest buzz, and the biggest. Yeah, I would say in that sense. Other than obviously if the three came off, so it's a real good opportunity. But I don't find like keeping my emotions in check very hard at all. To be honest, it's like
Pretty
it's just fighting. It's just fighting. It's something when you narrow it down. It's something I do every day. It's and
I'd go to the toilet in my pants if I had to fight in Madison.
it's like obviously like every fight varies, every camp varies. Like sometimes you're motivated. You can go into every session firing on all cylinders. Sometimes you have a camp where things aren't going so well, but I think that's where experience really plays a part. You can draw off that experience, and I've had both. I've had terrible camps and great fights, and the opposite way around. But emotions is never something I find hard to keep in check. Really.
Your UFC career, and I look at it so far, and your career as a whole, maybe more so now with the 7-fight deal. It's more like a marathon than a sprint. Do you feel with a big win you could get back to that maybe headline spot in UFC Dublin? Was that something that you'd like to maybe get back and have that in your possession, the ability to headline UFC in Dublin?
I would love to. I would love to. After that fight got pulled, it was something that's still now I wish I could have fought. But like I said, I don't really look past this one. That would probably put me in a position to do that, but I'm not even thinking about that at the minute until Vick's the only thing on my mind until November 5th. And November 5th, my mother's birthday, we'll go out for some food. Cheesecake will be on my mind, and then we'll take it from there.
Definitely big crowd going over as well. I'd imagine, Joe, from Wales, Donegal, everywhere.
Yeah, there's a good gang coming over. I think there's there's about 10 lads coming over from home. There's a gang in New York already from home as well. I think they're running a bar or something there, so I know they're all going. There's a good gang going from Wales too, so there's a crowd coming from everywhere. So it's going to be pretty sweet.
Well, hopefully, I hope, and obviously we hope to be over there as well to cover the fights. But I hope the Irish come out like they did for Conor in New York, because obviously a lot of them there. I know RT, featured your fight as well. So hopefully people get behind you and get out of the pubs and come on fight night and get along to that card, because it's a bloody stacked card from top to bottom. It's absolutely crazy. I mentioned to you during the week, I was texting you in relation to the pay-per-view. I think it's going to be on the pay-per-view. I know you guys don't find out till a little bit longer, but the UFC left a little thing on the pay-per-view slot, so it would be great if it was on the pay-per-view portion as well. But Joseph, one more for you. Kevin Lee, Tony Ferguson coming up soon. Big fight, in your division. I want to get your thoughts on that fight. Who's going to walk away with the victory there, do you think?
It's a great fight. It's a great fight. It's a hard one to call because they're both so tough. That's the thing. Like the likes of like Tony Ferguson, he's so tough. He keeps that pressure for the 5 rounds. And generally, I feel like a lot of the fighters who fight him struggle with that pressure. But Kevin Lee, he's really been tested also. You know, I forget I'm trying to think of the one fight he was getting rocked. Then he came back, choked your man. I think rear naked. It was a tough fight. So he's been in that position quite a lot. Ferguson's awkward. He's got a very awkward style, so maybe it's going to be awkward to train for. But I'm leaning towards Kevin Lee at the minute.
Yeah. Do you think
Yeah.
he deserves to be in that position in the division? You know, with the opposition maybe that he's fought, that's been a big question sort of raised. You know, Tony said that to me a few weeks ago in Las Vegas that he didn't believe Kevin should be in that position to warrant a title shot.
Maybe, I don't know. Like there's so many things that happen. Like people jumping up weights and getting fights. Like it doesn't really matter. Doesn't you can sit there and say, oh, this guy's ranked above him, this guy this. Like it's all about the fights that are exciting and the fights that make sense. And Kevin Lee seems to be on a good roll. You know, he seems to be a name that's going to draw a crowd. And I don't know. I'm hoping Ferguson isn't overlooking him at the same time. You know, here and there, because he's a tough fight for anyone. So. But it's a great fight. It's a fight I'm looking forward to.
You're going to watch it then, Joe, yeah? You're going to watch
I'll tune into that one.
Mr. Duffy, always a pleasure to have you on the show. Massively looking forward to your fight against James Vick on November 6th. Do appreciate the time, my friend, as always.
Thanks for having me on now.